In this second half of this recording for the problem 1C, problem number 1, I just want to focus on the second half of the questions. So I'm picking up close to where I left off from the last recording. I did get all the percentages transferred, which you can do again with pen or by snipping it like I did in the last video or adding a text box. Any way that you can get the data, the count, and the percentage both on our chart so that we can answer those questions that are in the second half of part 1C. So for 1C, we got as far as making the graphs on a piece of paper or a Word document. In this one, we did a Word document. You could also do a piece of paper and sketch the graphs. So we're done with that. And now we're going to focus on these questions right here. So the first question is, were there more Math 075 students in Valencia or Canyon Country? So looking at my graphs here, and this recording is more about reading the graphs than making the graphs. So reading the graphs, looking at these graphs here, I'm going to compare Valencia to Canyon Country. So looking at the bar chart, I can see Valencia campus here, and I can see that that is a taller bar. So that indicates that there are more students at the Valencia campus. Similarly, on the pie chart, I see Valencia is the red slice, because that's what my legend here says. So I look at the red slice, and that's a bigger slice. So that answer to that first question, I'm going to put my cursor at the end of my picture and just hit enter so I can start my answers. So there were more Math 075 students at the Valencia campus. Okay, the next question, how many Math 075 students went to the Valencia campus? So again, looking at my tables, the red slice has how many, that means the count. So that's 279. I can also see that on the frequency table as long as I count there. And the bar chart, I can see the label right there, 279. So all of these are showing us that there were 279 Math 075 students who went to Valencia campus. Okay, oops, little typo, spelling error, whatever you want to call it. There we go. All right, next question. How many went to Canyon Country? So similarly, only this time I'm going to look at the other bar, the other slice. So I see on this one, I'm looking at Canyon Country campus. So on the Canyon Country bar, I see the label 180 is the count. Same with their slice. That's the blue slice for Canyon Country. Go to the blue slice and I see 180. So that answers my question. There were 180 Math 075 students who went to Canyon Country campus. Be fine with CCC. All right, next question. What percent of the Math 075 students went to the Valencia? So now instead of looking at the count, we're going to be looking at the percentage. So that's why we need to do that other part of making the percentage. So we're looking at Valencia, and the percentage is 60.78. And again, Valencia on the pie chart, that's the red slice, 60.78. So two different ways here to find that answer. There was 60.78% of the Math 075 students who went to the Valencia campus. And similarly again, now we're going to answer that same question about the Canyon Country campus. So I'll go to the Canyon Country bar, and I see the percentage there is 39.22. And on the pie slice that goes along with Canyon Country, that's the blue slice, that is 39.22. So again, 2 ways to see the answer to this question. There was 39.22% of the Math 075 students who went to the Canyon Country campus. That answers all the questions for number 1. It's a similar process for number 2. The first half of the question, you're working in the Excel document and making the charts. In the second half, you're reading the charts. Okay, before I go on, actually I'm not going to go on, I'm done, but I do want to show you one more thing while I'm here. I'll go back to that Excel document, and I do want to show you that you can list 2 columns here, one for count and one for percent. It gets tricky to try to get them both to show up in the chart at the same time, which is why we had to do that little cut and paste or write it in with a pen, but you can list it in the frequency table easily with both percent and count, and I'll show you how to do that. So click on your pivot table okay, pivot table. How is it not? And if that pivot table options doesn't pop up on its own, then right click on it and go to pivot table options. That opens up that dialog box on the right. Let's see here. Show field list. And then that opens up that dialog on the right. And we already have the row labels on the rows and the counts on the values. We can actually add a second row under the values. It looks the same, but I'm going to format one as percent and one as count. And I can actually choose. So again, to change that format, you just go right click and you can say show value as. No calculation will give you count. And right click, show value as. Percent of column will give you percent. So you can see how on that bar graph it looks funky because the scale is already set to count or percent. You can't set it to both. So only but one of those bars is really going to work at a time. But you can, again, add with your pen the percentage over the bar to show it into your document.